But basically what Josiah did was he disguised himself and actually went into the battle as a soldier along with all his other soldiers, and he was killed with an arrow. And he was killed at Megiddo, which is where the battle took place. Interesting little piece of biblical trivia for you. The plains of Megiddo, up north of Jerusalem. Megiddo, there's an area there where Solomon had stables, and you can go there today and you can find the ruins of Solomon's stables right up there on this little hillside area. And when you go out and look over the plain of Megiddo, you see a place that is perfect for warfare. I mean, it's this wide swath of plain, flat plain. Now, this plain shows up in the book of Revelation. There it is known as Har Megiddo, or we pronounce it Armageddon. It's the same place. And it is this plain where there will be some battling coming up in the years ahead. Har Megiddo, the plain of Megiddo. So Josiah has died, and one of his sons is put in his place by the people. Notice it says, the people of the land anointed him. And it was unusual because he was either the third or fourth son of Josiah, not the eldest, which is kind of unusual. He didn't last long. Jehoahaz was 23 years old, verse 31, when he became king, and he reigned 3 months in Jerusalem. Not a long time. His mother's name was Hamutal, the daughter of Jeremiah, not the prophet, of Libnah. Jeremiah the prophet was not from Libnah. He did evil in the sight of the Lord according to all that his fathers had done. What happened? Josiah is such a great king and pushes this great revival or purging of the land anyway. And here his son, as soon as he gets in command, in 3 months, he's just not following the Lord. Now Pharaoh Necho put him in prison at Riblah in the land of Hamath, that he might not reign in Jerusalem, and he imposed on the land a tribute of 100 talents of silver and a talent of gold. And then Pharaoh Necho made Eliakim, the son of Josiah, king in place of his father Josiah, and changed his name to Jehoiakim. And Pharaoh took Jehoahaz and went to Egypt, and he died there. We're going to run into a number of very similar names. Might be kind of confusing. First, Jehoahaz. Jehoahaz was Josiah's son. Josiah is killed in a battle with Pharaoh Necho. 3 months later, Pharaoh Necho takes Jehoahaz, puts him in prison, then takes him down to Egypt with him, where he dies there, puts his brother, actually his elder brother, in command as a vassal to Egypt, and changes his name because it's not enough like everybody else's name. So he changes his name to Jehoiakim. So Jehoiakim gave the silver and gold to Pharaoh, but he taxed the land to give money according to the command of Pharaoh. He enacted the silver and gold from the people of the land and from everyone according to his assessment to give it to Pharaoh Necho. Jehoiakim was 25 years old when he became king, and he reigned 11 years in Jerusalem. His mother's name was Zebudah, the daughter of Pedaiah of Rumah. And then he did evil in the sight of the Lord according to all that his fathers had done. And in his days Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came up, and Jehoiakim became his vassal for 3 years. Then he turned and he rebelled against him. So now Babylon has grown in strength, has gone down, has got Egypt taken care of somewhat. And now Judah becomes a vassal of Babylon instead of Assyria. Okay, we got that? And at this point in time, it says that Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, came up, he became his vassal, he turned and rebelled against him, and so the Lord sent against him raiding bands of Chaldeans, bands of Syrians, bands of Moabites, and the bands of the people of Ammon. Basically, everybody around started attacking them, and sent them against Judah to destroy it according to the word of the Lord which he had spoken by his servants the prophets. Surely at the command of the Lord this came upon Judah, to remove them from his sight because of the sins of Manasseh, according to all he had done, and also because of the innocent blood that he had shed, for he had filled Jerusalem with innocent blood, which the Lord would not pardon. Now the rest of the acts of Jehoiakim and all that he did, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Judah? Yes, they are. So Jehoiakim rested with his fathers. Then Jehoiachin, his son, reigned in his place. So we've got Jehoiakim and Jehoiachin. Okay? And the king of Egypt did not come out of the land anymore. For the king of Babylon had taken all that belonged to the king of Egypt from the brook of Egypt to the river Euphrates. Okay, what is not explicitly given to us right here, it tells us that after 3 years of being the vassal of the king of Babylon, and we don't know where in his 11-year reign, specifically from right here, Nebuchadnezzar took over and Judah now became, under Babylon instead of under Egypt, which happened right when Jehoiakim first became king. Are you confused yet? Okay, so we don't know exactly when that happened, but here's what happened is Nebuchadnezzar came down and took control, and he became a vassal of his for 3 years, but then he rebelled. We don't know much about that rebellion, except here we find another one of our books from the Old Testament, the book of Daniel. And the book of Daniel tells us that during the time that Jehoiakim rebelled against Nebuchadnezzar, Nebuchadnezzar came down, took control, and he took some of the articles, just a few of the articles of the temple, out of the temple, and he took the nobles, the kings, the kingly line, including Daniel and his 3 buddies. Anybody know his buddies' names? Remember? Aha. Aha. Do you know their Hebrew names? Well, put me on the spot. You raised your hand, man. That's it. That's right. That's right. We remember them from the song and so forth, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. But those are actually names given to them by Nebuchadnezzar that are names of foreign gods. So, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah are the, and so that's how Daniel ended up in Babylon. And we'll come back to that in a minute. Okay, so pick it up in verse 8. Jehoiachin, that's not Kim, that's Chin, was 18 years old when he became king. And you'll find that there is a scribal error in 2 Chronicles when it talks about this, because it talks about him being 8 years old. He was not. He was 18 years old. And the manuscript evidence leads to the fact that, 18 is correct in both places. And he reigned in Jerusalem 3 months. That seems to be a pattern here. And his mother's name was Nehushta, and daughter of Elnathan of Jerusalem. And he did evil in the sight of the Lord, according to all his father had done. And at that time the servants of Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came up against Jerusalem, and the city was besieged. This wasn't just Nebuchadnezzar coming and taking a few things and saying, okay, I'm in control, start paying me, and I'm going to take a few nice-looking items out of the temple. This was different. They were besieging it. Then Jehoiachin, king of Judah, his mother, his servants, his princes, and his officers went out to the king of Babylon, and the king of Babylon in the 8th year of his reign, that's the 8th year of Nebuchadnezzar's reign, because Jehoiachin only lasted 3 months,